Chris Mains, standing for the Liberal Democrats in the Lewisham mayoral by-election on the 7th of March. You've stood for the mayoralty quite a few times now. Why stand again?
Because Lewisham is in such a state, it needs to have A, challenge in the elections, and B, someone that can keep pointing out the faults of the Labour administration.
Describe to the people of Lewisham what you do outside of politics.
I work for the NHS, I work with GPs in and out of our service. Doesn't cover Lewisham, but it covers lots of South London.
What's your favourite part of Lewisham?
Blackheath.
If there is one place in Lewisham where you take a friend or a work colleague to eat, where are you taking them?
Oh dear, it's a bit difficult to show any favouritism, but the Everest Inn in Blackheath is very good.
Okay. You say in your manifesto you want to start a council house programme building across Lewisham. You'll have 2 years in office if you were to be elected. How many council homes do you think you can get started on until the end of your term in 2026?
Well, actually, it's not just building homes, it's acquiring homes as well. The council can quite easily go into the open market, buy back lots of the right to buy properties, which are there, sitting there, waiting to be occupied. There is opportunities around the corner from here. There's an opportunity site to build houses and flats, and also the opportunity to make sure developers include family homes in their large developments. Lewisham Council consistently fail to hold developers to account and make sure that they deliver what the community needs.
Can't press you on a number, can I?
No.
You have quite a bold manifesto in the sense that you're looking at exploring options like better mental health support in schools, which for young people after COVID and lockdown is quite significant. How are you paying for it?
We've got to appreciate that the council is not just delivering services itself, but it's an enabling organisation. It should be working with the police to make sure that we have a safer community, working with schools and education to make sure that schools are delivering. And one of the things they could be delivering on is having a mental health wellbeing person in every school. You can fund that through education funding from the government and making sure that pupil premium in schools is spent on helping young people with mental health problems.
You also talk about tackling the climate crisis in your manifesto as well. In terms of tackling the climate crisis, what's your first action on that?
I think we should review all council-owned properties, including council housing, to make sure that they are properly insulated and properly heated, to make sure that if you can reduce heating bills in council housing, you reduce the bills for local tenants and you're helping the planet.
Also in your manifesto is talk about changing the culture of Lewisham Council. You also talk about Lewisham Council running sham consultations. Describe to voters what sort of sham consultations they've run in the past.
Well, can I just talk about the culture, because the Labour Party just takes everyone for granted. I suspect in this election you won't be able to interview the Labour candidate because she's not prepared to put herself forward to proper scrutiny. And the council doesn't have proper scrutiny. It's restricted the number of questions that the public can ask, it's restricted the way that it has ward assemblies and ward committees, and it's just closing ranks because Labour Party are scared of any challenge and scrutiny. And scrutiny is what improves democracy locally and improves decision making and improves local services. Talk about sham consultation. Look at the parking consultations that they've had around the borough. Questions already assuming certain answers, decisions made before the consultation's finished. Local neighbourhood transport schemes, LTNs, again, total sham in the consultations, really angers people that they're not being listened to. And that's what we've got to challenge. We've got to start a listening Lewisham, not a Lewisham that just enforces decisions upon the community.
And on that issue of LTNs, yay or nay?
Depends what the public want, what the local area wants. They've got to be done really sympathetically and not done carte blanche across whole areas. It's interesting that the area that is most polluted is the area that of course has no LTNs. We need to reduce car usage, and that's got to be a chicken and egg situation, a carrot and stick situation. No point in blocking off areas for cars if you don't provide proper public transport, proper walking facilities and proper cycling facilities.
You were once a councillor in Blackheath, from what I understand,
Yep.
at a time when Lewisham did have opposition on its council. Describe to me some of your best moments in challenging Lewisham Council at the time.
Well, of course, there was the huge story about a school that Lewisham refused to build, despite the desperate need for a decent secondary school. Eventually, the then mayor, was forced to come up with a plan which demolished a swimming pool. Not the best site at all for a school. We were able to change that. We saved the pool and got a new school built. Now Lewisham has a great pool in the centre of town and a new school in the centre of town. It's that sort of challenging and scrutinising decisions that improves local democracy.
Okay. Let's fast forward to the 8th of March. Let's say you're in a scenario where you've just been elected the Mayor of Lewisham. What does day one of a Mayor Chris Mayne's administration look like?
Fine, don't forget.
That's right.
Nurses, look. Doing some of these.
Day one is clearly to look and see what resources Lewisham Council's got and start actually accelerating some of the schemes that have been sitting around for decades. Look at Catford Town Centre, losing loads of money in uncollected rents, decaying as we watch it. Council owns that site and has great opportunity to redevelop Catford. Has great opportunity to redevelop the site around the corner. Been empty for 4 years now, waiting for the council to get its act together. Lewisham Council has been stalling for the last 4 years. It's almost ground to a halt. We need to actually step up, put the gas on, deliver council housing, delivering the community that people want instead of this, using the council for political ambitions and just using it as a stepping stone for something else.
What would you say makes you different from the other candidates?
I live here, I'm committed to the area, and I want to help everybody in Lewisham. It's not just a little sector, a group, but currently Lewisham Council only appeal to its own people.
What would you say the number one issue facing the people of Lewisham is at the minute?
Housing. We need to have more houses, we need more family housing. We want to make sure that people have secure housing so that their kids can study at home, they can grow and thrive at home. At the moment, repairs are a disaster, overcrowding is a disaster, and people not being adequately housing is really damaging their well-being.
So, in previous mayoral elections, it's taken place under a supplementary vote system. This is the first election in Lewisham where you can only vote for one candidate. If you could vote for any of your fellow candidates, who are you voting for?
I probably wouldn't vote.
Chris Maynes, Liberal Democrat candidate for the mayoral by-election on the 7th of March. Thank you very much.
Thank you.